experience of how I solved the problem of chronic sedentary lifestyle that I had as a result of my computer work. Of course, people working their computer all the time for years will understand me that it's super hard to sit all the time. Sit, sit, sit. It's awful. It's awful to sit all the time. Constant sitting is a slow suicide to my mind. But before, I need to include a disclaimer here, just for legal reasons. I need to do that. So, I'm not an expert. I advise you absolutely nothing. All the information here is given only for your entertainment and informational purposes only. I'm telling you here only about my experience, nothing else. There's no guarantee that this info will help you at all. I absolutely don't understand why I'm talking about this and don't know what I'm talking about here. If you ever want to take any decision, please consult with first-class experts before. I advise you absolutely nothing because I'm not an expert. Okay, so there was a time in my life when I was absolutely suffering from constant sedentary computer lifestyle. It was so hard for me to stand this sedentary chronic lifestyle that I wish nobody to experience this time. One day, after 2.5+ years of such a lifestyle, I lived over almost 3 years with such a life. So one day, after 2.5+ years of such a lifestyle, I realized that I cannot do this anymore. My body told me, you have to choose either or. Choose. Either you go on sitting but gain serious health problems, or you change something immediately as soon as possible and remain healthy. If you ask, what about treadmills, home gyms, cardio workouts, and so on and so forth, I'd answer, no, it's not for me. I don't like home gyms. I don't like treadmills and so on. I personally dislike them because they are super boring for me to exercise at. And I don't like doing things that bore me beyond belief. I'm sure that there are so many people who also don't like these things. The same as me, myself. Okay, chronic setting wasn't for me from the very beginning, and I clearly realized at that moment I need to change something as soon as possible to stay healthy. And the decision came. Yeah, the decision came out of nowhere. It was just an idea. Idea of the table. Table for standing. Not for sitting, but for standing. Nowadays you can find a lot of these things. They are called something like height adjustable table or height adjustable desk, height adjustable workstation, height adjustable monitor stand, or height adjustment monitor stand, and so on and so forth. You can Google if you want. But at that time, however, I didn't even have a clue that something of the kind exists already. I didn't have a clue that such a thing already exists. But as you remember, I had to change something as soon as possible. That's why I quickly ordered a custom-made table for standing at my local area. To make a long story short, this table turned out to be my health saver, and as a result, lifesaver, because what is our life without health? Sounds too loud. But yeah, this is true in my case. This table turned out to be a real health saver in my case. I'm telling you, till the end of my life, I'll be grateful to heaven for this idea of standing desk. This idea came out of nowhere to me, as you remember. I didn't know anything about height adjustable tables before. The very moment I started using this thing, I felt better. Immediately. I felt much more energetic. My organs stopped suffering from constant sitting, and my belly fat stopped growing immediately. The only thing I regret about is I didn't discover this solution before. I didn't start using this height adjustable table before almost 3 years ago. This is the only thing I regret now about. Why I didn't discover the solution before? Maybe because I was too lazy for any discoveries then. And I wasn't desperate enough to look for any decisions then. Well, I just didn't suffer enough, much enough then. As horrible as it may sound, but only despair made me look for a decision then, because I needed to change something in my life as soon as possible to stay healthy, as you remember. Okay, so if I discovered the solution 3 years ago, then my results would be better even, and I'd never have health concerns or bad of head. I'm sure about it. Okay, because of constant sitting, I was depressed. Wasn't energetic. My muscles were like jelly. Really, they were like jelly after almost 3 years of sedentary lifestyle. My body was so exhausted because of sitting, and plus it developed into minor health problems that could grow into big problems. That was terrible. It was really terrible for me. In simple words, I always suffer from chronic sedentary lifestyle. I had to change something as soon as possible then. But now I don't suffer anymore. Thanks to height adjustable table. I'm so grateful to heaven for that. And I'm using this table now for almost 1 year. 1 year already, almost. I started from small. I started from really, really small, from 10 minutes of standing or 20 minutes of standing. Then I switched to sitting again. So it depends. It depended on how I felt and depended on my comfort level. The key here is comfort and health. I stood. Oh, I stood as much time as I felt it was comfortable for me, and then I switched back to sitting again. So it was constant changes, sitting, standing, but it saved my health, and it's so great. I'm sure that if one is doing everything correctly, they will be happier and healthier as a result of using this height adjustable table. But if they are not doing everything correctly, then things will get worse. I've read in forums some people's comments, and they said something like this: it's super hard. It's super hard to stay all the time. It's terrible. It's impossible. Of course it's impossible to stand all the time. Of course it's super hard. But the point is not to stand all the time. The point is in comfort level, in comfortable changing of positions. The point is in the happy medium between standing and sitting. And there's no just one recipe for everybody, because we're all unique here. And some people are healthy, some people are not. Some people's muscles are fitter and stronger, and some people's muscles are like jelly. So there's no just one recipe for all. How much to stand and how much to sit. Just it's unique, and you have to consult with several great experts before taking any decisions, really. So there's always happy medium and no just one recipe for all. Okay, so as a result, now I'm energetic. My muscles are fitter, stronger, and my muscles are not like jelly anymore. And that's great. I feel energetic, and I have no health problems anymore, and I'm happy, and I'm more productive, and I'd be always grateful to heaven for this solution. This is absolute true. Thank you, heaven, for always. Okay, was it hard for me to use it? Yeah, sometimes it was. Sometimes, oh no, not sometimes, very pretty often, I overdid. I stood pretty often more than I could, than it was comfortable for me. For example, I felt comfortable standing, for example, 20 minutes. But instead, I overdid and stood, for example, 60 minutes. So I'll be honest with you. I pretty often overdo, but that's just my choice. But I cannot say that it's a wise choice. Sorry. Well, but despite of everything, despite overdoing it, because of overdoing, I experience pretty often pain and discomfort in my muscles. Yeah, it's not easy and it's not pleasant, to tell the truth, really. But despite everything, I use this table for almost 1 year already. What does it mean? What does it mean? Despite of overdoing, despite standing too much pretty often, I'm still happy. I feel great, and I'll always be thankful to heaven for this, because it saved my health.